the running of the 2016 Longines Hong Kong Vase, worth $16.5 million and with a trophy as well. Let's head to the trackside team together with special guest Kevin Blake for the running of this year's Vase.
As well, but still, it's very, very short.
All right, well, I think Garland Gary's the first one we're going to see, Jenny. Have you caught up with him yet?
Well, I was just walking over towards Garland Gary, and I thought he actually paraded really quite nicely. I know we've moved on to the 8, so I might have to come back to him. I want to get a better look at him anyway, but he certainly does look fit, and he's nicely behaved now. He's just on his toes moments ago. He has been clipped out as well, but nice horse.
Certainly is.
It's bandaged in front as well.
Now, have you had a look at HKIR, Jenny? Because that's the one we're on now. We've just seen the graphic for him as well.
HKIR is a lovely horse. Walks out really smoothly too. Strong all over. He's obviously been very, very consistent from Singapore, this guy, and he looks in great order. Lovely, relaxed horse as well. So I'm not sure that he's quite up to it. I would probably have my queries with that, but gee, he looks well.
All right, and this is Satono Crown. Joe Moreira will be jumping on board.
Satono? No, I'm going to have to find him, guys, so we'll have to just get a few of these in order. Where is he? I can't see him over the crowd here. Okay, he's about to come around this corner. So I have actually been able to see him before. Now, he looks in pretty good shape as well. As you'd imagine, all these classy individuals, they normally are good types, and he's another one of them. This fellow is a bit wintry in his coat at the moment. He does walk out nice and freely. He's a little bit tense, and he has started to sweat up just marginally behind as well, but he does look really quite fit.
Moving around here, Jenny, anticipation, is he anywhere near you? Because he's the one up next.
Yep, I can cross here and get to anticipation. This fellow is a bit of a character. He does like to bite in his races if he's given the opportunity. So he's a very solid, strong type. He looks in good order. I think Tony's turned him out beautifully. Always carries that touch of condition. Coat's beautiful at the moment. He is nicely behaved as well. I think he looks in pretty good order, actually. That's as good as he can look, and I don't think he'll disgrace either.
I don't know why, but the crowd are cheering every time Garland Gary walks past. But this is a Nuovo record, Jenny, the 13.
And look, there's nicer ones that I've already spoken about, I've got to say, with Nuovo record. This mare is bandaged in front. There's a lot of sweat marks on her, and there's not an overly huge amount of strength about her either, compared to a few of the others. But she's a quality mare, no doubt about it, and she is really fit as well. But she's just a bit on the warm side, and doesn't have huge, strong hind quarters on her. But she's quality.
Next, Jenny's number 9, Flame Hero, one of the local horses who's probably got a bit defined here form-wise, but he comes into the race in good form.
Yeah, well, they set me a task there because he's right over the other side, so I will get to him, Flame Hero. I can normally tell you what he's all about anyway. He's a really lovely individual, always has been. And I thought he went really well last time, and he's one that could possibly bob up at pretty big odds as well. So I still haven't seen him yet. Sorry, guys.
That's all right.
I thought I could get to him, but I can't at the moment, so I'll have to come back to him as well.
It's a very, very crowded parade ring, so we might go to, I think we've got Big Orange next. If you can get across to him, Jenny, that would be great to have your assessment of him.
All right. Well, I just did catch up with Flame Hero, so if you do like him, he's walking out beautifully, and he's lovely and relaxed, so he's got that home ground advantage as well. Now, the 3, we're moving on rather quickly once again here. Or do you want me to go on to the 1?
Let's go on to Highland Reel, because we're on him now, Jenny. If you've got next to him, that'd be great.
Yep, Highland Reel is looking in good shape. He's nice coat on him at the moment. Has been clipped out, but he's rather alert. He seems to be taking it in his stride. He's not doing too much wrong here. He's a really fit-looking horse as well. Quality animal, no doubt about it. Handles his travelling really, really well. And I think he looks in good shape. He's good. He's very fit, nice and fluent.
We sometimes see him getting a bit worked up, Kevin, but he looks quite relaxed at the moment.
No, he can sweat. He's known as a free sweater. Doesn't necessarily always do it, but I know David Bergen, that rides him every morning, has been very happy with him. He says he can occasionally get a bit warm on the way home as much as anything, but they've been very happy with him. They haven't seen him do anything that he doesn't normally do.
All right, here's another one of the Europeans, Jenny, the 2, Silver Wave.
Really nice horse too. He's got a bit of size and scope about him, this fellow. Behaving himself beautifully as well. Really fit-looking horse. Another one nice and smooth in his walking action as well. I would give him a chance on looks. He looks good.
Silver Wave, trained by Pascal Barry. He was disappointing in the arc, but has run well in races prior to that. Just a quick note on him as well, Kevin.
Well, I would be concerned. He does have a tendency to disappoint in bigger fields, which is a concern, especially in a race such as this where they're going to race tight. His trainer, Pascal Barry, is based in Shanty. A lot of the trainers based there have struggled in the last few months. Hopefully, there's signs of green shoots there that they might pick up, and he'd be one that you'll be hoping could show some more here.
One of the locals, Jenny, the 5, Helene Happy Star.
Helene Happy Star is a horse that always carries a little bit of condition around the midsection there, but he is walking out nice and freely. He's got the 2 handlers restraining him there. He's nice and alert. His coat's terrific as well. And you know that he's likely to go forward and give you a really good sight. Whether or not he's good enough, I'm not sure, but the horse looks really well. He can't look much better than that.
5th in the race last year, Helene Happy Star was probably a stronger renewal as well. And he's not in bad form. He trialled very well recently. I'd definitely give him a bit of an each-way squeak. Not a race in which the Hong Kong horses do particularly well in, but I think he could go quite nicely. Next one is One Foot in Heaven. Jenny, another of the French challengers, horse number 7.
Yeah, well, there's been a cloud over him. He arrived, and shortly after he had that blood abnormality, and it's sort of been a little bit of an ongoing issue, but he's been past fit to race, so thankfully all's okay with him. He looks in good order. He's a 4-year-old colt. We've got a few of them in this particular race. He's been clipped out. He looks to be walking out nice and freely. He's got a very nice nature about him as well. Sort of a nice, scopy, strong type. So he looks well.
Benzini, Jenny, we're seeing now, the sole representative from New Zealand. Rosie Myers in the saddle.
Benzini, yep, he's about to come around towards me, so I'll get a good look at him here. You can see that he's very much on his toes. Of course, he's the Brisbane Cup winner. Group 2 winner, and this guy looks in pretty good order. He's bandaged around those fetlock joints there. He's a bit plainer than a few of the others I've spoken about, but getting slightly warm around the flank area. Really fit, very fit going into this as well, and he seems to be walking out perfectly all right, so he's well.
And the next one, Jenny, Eastern Express for John Size and Silvestre de Souza.
He looks a treat. Nothing wrong with Eastern Express if you happen to like him. I'm not sure if he's quite up to it at this stage of his career. He's a 4-year-old, but he cannot look any better than that. Gee, looks well.
And Smart Layer we're seeing here, Jenny, the grey, the 14, doesn't have quite the profile of some of his other travelling mates from Japan.
Smart Layer, yeah. Smart Layer is bandaged on all 4 legs. Often the Japanese horses are bandaged. He's behaving himself beautifully, though, Smart Layer. Oh, sorry, she's a 6-year-old mare. And she actually does look in pretty good shape. Just throwing the head around a touch there and just slightly agitated, but nothing I'd be overly concerned about. Lovely athletic horse. Nice horse. Very nice.
Yeah, she's interesting. She's by Deep Impact.
Well, I think I need to go back and take a look at the 3 once again. Big Orange.
Big Orange.
Okay, let's have another look at him. He looks well. He's been beautifully behaved throughout, this fellow. He looks in good order. So walking out nice and freely. His coat's absolutely beautiful. His chance of going into the top 4. What was the others there, guys?
4, Satono Crand, and 6 and 8.
The 4, Satano Crown, is just getting himself really quite agitated now, so that's probably a little bit of a downer, and really quite hot as well. So he's starting to get himself a little too agitated and hot for my liking. The next was
6 and 8, Jenny.
The 6, yeah, like him, Galangari. He looks good. He's a really fit, relaxed type of horse, bandaged on those front legs. Not spectacular type, but certainly walking out nice and fluently and looks really fit. And the 8 horse, Quechua, I thought he paraded really quite nicely too. Lovely natured horse, very, very strong, nice and healthy, and walking out well. So he looks in good shape.
He's big price Quechua, but certainly will not want for looks. And while you were talking there, Jenny, Silver Wave was adjudged the best turned out here in the parade ring too. So, Kevin, if nothing else, the horse clearly appears to look in good condition.
No, I don't think there was. I saw nothing there anyway to concern me from this perspective. And you know, at the end of the day, the form book tells you that he's quite a way ahead of these, and he needs to underperform, I think, to be beaten on this occasion.
So there we go, horses making their way out onto the track. We'll get Jenny to have a think about her top 4 before we get back at them. But Paul, this Highland Reel, he's very short.
Yeah, look, he's $1.20 a win, $1.20 a place. Now, the reason being there's all-ups, massive all-ups going through him. As I speak, he's now to $1.30. I'm expecting a lot of these horses to drift. This market's probably not really representative at this stage. Nouveau Record, she went out to 19. She's now back into 12. He's the second favourite.
浪琴標香港
Silverweight
平
at
參賽
17,
馬匹
18 about Helene Happy
The
Star.
runners of
He's
the
best
Longines
local
Hong
horse,
Kong
Helene Happy
Vase.
Star at $18. But $1.30 for Highland Reel, short enough. And race number 4,
1 號
Jenny, how do they look from the
馬
paddock?
愛爾蘭代表
Well, I really like
高
the
地
favourite.
之
I thought the
舞
one Highland Reel
Number
looked
one,
fantastic,
Highland
and I think
Reel,
he's going to be hard to beat. He's a
representing
class horse
Ireland.
in the race. There's no doubt about that. We've got plenty of class in the race, but he's the real proof of
2
one,
號
isn't he? And
馬
I thought
法
he
國代
paraded
表
really quite nicely.
銀色海浪
He is
Number
known
two,
to get a little on his
Silverweight,
toes. I thought he was pretty good
representing
here
France.
in the parade. So the one goes on top of number 11, Eastern Express.
3
He
號
paraded
馬
well, but
英
this
國
is a
代
big
表
assignment for him.
巨
He's
橙
going out at over 25
Number
to 1
three,
as it stands.
Big Orange,
He looks an absolute
representing
treat,
Great
Eastern
Britain.
Express, so I have to put him in. Big Orange, number 3, beautiful natured
4
horse,
號馬
lovely
日
scopy
本代
individual as
表
well, real
李
staying
健
type.
皇
He
冠
looks in great shape and his coat's
Number 4,
absolutely gleaming.
Satono
And
Crown,
then the 2 Silver Wave,
representing
I thought he
Japan.
paraded really nicely too, nicely drawn in gate 1, so he might be able to get himself
5 號
a nice
馬
run there.
香港代表
14
喜蓮
starts
歡
in
聲
total for 6
Number
wins, so
5,
he's,
Helene
got
Happy
plenty of
Star,
class on his
representing
side as well.
Hong
In order
Kong.
for me,
6 號馬法國代表更凌駕
Number 6, Garlingari, representing France.
7 號馬法國代表以身犯難
Number 7, One Foot in Heaven, representing France.
8 號馬新加坡代表黑優雅
Number 8, Keshwar, representing Singapore.
9號馬香港代表火紅人
Number 9, Flame Hero, representing Hong Kong.
10號馬紐西蘭代表賓勝力
Number 10, Benzini, representing New Zealand.
11號馬香港代表東方快車
Number 11, Eastern Express, representing Hong Kong.
12號馬香港代表奇畫
Number 12, Anticipation, representing Hong Kong.
13號馬日本代表新紀錄
Number 13, Nuovo Record, representing Japan.
14號馬日本代表醒目層次
Number 14, Smart Leia, representing Japan.
Originality from me, either Highland Reel on top, Nuovo Record. Her run in the Cup here last year was a corker. She hasn't really reproduced it, but she had a decent little blowout last time out, and I'll be disappointed if she's not there or thereabouts. The 5, Helene Happy Star, I think he can go quite well, and the 2, Silver Wave in there too. He was best turned out here, and yeah, he looks good to run a decent race.
Well, he looks like he's got down there in pretty good order, the one Highland Reel. He's the favourite. I've had him on top. I thought he paraded really well. Interestingly, last time I laid eyes on him here in Hong Kong, he was 46 pounds lighter. He's actually put on some weight with a little bit of age, and he looks good for it too. So he goes on top of number 11. I thought Eastern Express paraded beautifully. Lovely, relaxed horse. Of course, he's trained here, so it's all calm environment for him, and he often parades well, but he looks an absolute treat here today, so he might be able to step up to the plate. I thought the 3, Big Orange, also paraded nicely. A lovely, scopy, healthy-looking horse. And next best was the 2, Silver Wave, who's got a pretty good overall record, and he paraded nicely too. So 1, 11, 3 and 2 for me, as we see 1 foot in heaven, throwing 1 foot in the air. Wow.
Perfect timing. Okay, well, he's well. So we know a lot about the favourites, Kevin, Highland Reel. Horse like Big Orange, you know, you might look at the form and think, oh, he's an out-and-out stayer. So is he out of his class? Is he in a race like this?
I don't necessarily think he's out of his class, but it's whether the question mark is the early pace. You know, I don't think he has to lead, but whether he would be quick enough to lead, even if they want to, is a question we're going to get answered very quickly early on. I think his best chance would be to make it a test and kick on from as far out as is viable, really, to try and take the sting out of some of his quicker opposition. But I have my concerns and question marks that he doesn't necessarily have the pace to do that.
Outside of Highland Real, if we put him to one side for a moment, who's the best of the Europeans?
Well, One Foot in Heaven is a horse I'm quite fond of. Obviously, as has been discussed, comes here under a bit of a cloud, but perhaps that's now reflected on the betting board at least. I think the quicker to go up front will certainly play to his strengths. I think he does have a very potent turn of foot. And the pace is an interesting angle here. Highland Real, I suppose, has the advantage of being that bit versatile, and Ryan Moore being outside the two that could potentially go on. It'll give him options. He doesn't have to make a decision immediately. He can jump and see what's happening inside before he makes his decision.
Speaking of the betting, Paul, any late moves before they move in?
Well, I just expect Highland Real is now starting to drift out to 1.4. Silver Wave, they're coming for the French into 12. Big Orange 23 and Satano Crown into 24. They've all been backed. And Garland Gary in a place as well. He's over 100 to 1, but he's coming to $10 a place. So there are a few moves now, Andrew.
All right, well, here we go. We're just about set for the first of the big ones as they move in for the Longines Hong Kong Vase. Highland Real, a very short price favourite here, $1.40 and $1.10. He's trying to go back to back, Brett.
Thanks very much, Andrew. That he is, yes, runners are behind the gates and about to move up for the first of the 4 internationals here today at Sha Tin. The mile and a half Longines International Vase. Highland Real currently showing $1.40. The board is starting to light up though. There's good money, Silver Wave, Big Orange, and also Satano Crown. A lot of place money for Garland Gary. Highland Real at $1.40. $10 now for Nuovo Record. Silver Wave is 20 to 12. Elaine Happy Star 21 to 14. Big Orange, Satano Crown, they've got their supporters. Still quite a few to move in. Smart Layer, the grey from Japan. Nuovo Record still to move up with Satano Crown and the favourite Highland Real. Keshwa for Singapore. The Derby winner in 2015. Benzini for New Zealand. What a great thrill for Adrian Bull and Rosie Myers, our female jockey here today on the big stage. They continue to load. Helene Happy Star drawn alongside a Big Orange. Highland Real now coming up. Satano Crown still out. So the favourite secured. $1.40, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now 13 are all trimming up. The French galloper Silver Wave for Maxine Guillon. Drawn gate 1, Maxine already with a winner today. Nuovo Record to come forward. Along with her fellow mare, Smart Layer, Eastern Express. So the field is almost set for the running of the Longines Hong Kong Vase. Keshwa goes in. Flame Hero to come forward with 1 Foot in Heaven. Who'll be the last to load. Stand by for a start. Longines Hong Kong Vase 2016. The gates are open and they're off and racing. Highland Real jumped away perfectly. Nearer the inside, Eastern Express away fast, along with Anticipation. Highland Real travelling forward in the middle, along with also Smart Layer. Keshwa's a touch wide, and he's going to ease back in behind the speed. Helene Happy Star, followed by Silver Wave holding a spot on the fence. It's quite crowded there. Flame Hero and Big Orange in the middle as they come past the judge with a circuit to travel, and Ryan Moore is pushing on, and he has the favourite in front, a lap out. Highland Real shows the way as they run past the Longines timepiece. Eastern Express second. Helene Happy Star working up to the outside of the leader. Anticipation will settle down in fourth. Big Orange is caught 3 deep. Down on the rail is Silver Wave. The middle a length away is Flame Hero. Deep out on the course, Smart Layer. She can't get in. Followed then by Garland Gary and Satano Crown midfield defence. A length away then to 1 Foot in Heaven with Nuovo Record to the outside. The New Zealand galloper Benzini's back second last. The Singapore galloper is last of all, Keshwa. They're in the back, 1,300 metres to go, and Highland Real has the lead. He got a little bit of pressure there from Big Orange, who quickly whipped around them and goes up into second. 1,200 metres out. Eastern Express holding a good spot third. So too is Helene Happy Star, followed by Silver Wave, who hasn't spent a penny. Deeper out on the track then, as they work towards the 1,000 metres, is Anticipation with Smart Layer. Then a length to Satano Crown on the inside of Flame Hero, followed by Garlingari, who's losing ground. Benzini, Keshwar. Then came 1 Foot in Heaven as they really pack up 800 metres out. 2 lengths last of all is Nuovo Record, who's got it all to do. Highland Reel down the side, 650 metres to go. He leads by a length. Helene Happy Star, Eastern Express as they approach the home turn. Followed then as they come up towards the bend by Smart Layer. She's under pressure, but Highland Reel will corner in front in the Vase as they swing for home. And Ryan Moore turns up the heat now, and Highland Reel dashed away. Eastern Express trying to stick on. Helene Happy Star, Satono Crown coming out of the pack. Further back to 1 Foot in Heaven. Then came Flame Hero. Highland Reel in full flight. There's only one danger. It's the Japanese charger, Satono Crown. He's got 3 to make up. Highland Reel kept going. Satono Crown is lifting. Satono Crown is cutting down Highland Reel, and he'll take the Vase. Japan conquer. Satono Crown from Highland Reel. They're 8 lengths in front of the rest. Maybe 1 Foot in Heaven third. Close up Nuovo Record. Benzini ran a race. Smart Layer, Keshwar, followed then by Garlingari. Big Orange, Eastern Express, Flame Hero, Silver Wage, Helene Happy Star, and Anticipation. Japan take the Vase. Satono Crown for Noriyuki Hori and the Magic Man, Joe Moreira. Cutting down Highland Reel. Look at the gap back to third. Terrific run, 1 Foot in Heaven. Nuovo Record came from last to take fourth. Smart Layer ran well, as did Benzini. Highland Reel just gathered in by an outstanding Japan galloper in Satono Crown. His first Group 1 victory, Satono Crown. He's taken out the Vase in what was a thrilling finish. 4-1-7, 4-1-7, 13 is fourth, 226.22. They're well inside a standard. Half a length, the margin to third, 6 3/4. Start. Longines, Hong Kong Vase 2016. The gates are open and they're off and racing. Highland Reel jumped away perfectly. Nearer the inside, Eastern Express away fast, along with Anticipation. Highland Reel travelling forward in the middle, along with also Smart Layer. Keshwar's a touch wide, and he's going to ease back in behind the speed. Helene Happy Star, followed by Silver Wave holding a spot on the fence. It's quite crowded there. Flame Hero and Big Orange in the middle as they come past the judge with a circuit to travel, and Ryan Moore is pushing on, and he has the favourite in front, a lap out. Highland Reel shows the way as they run past the Longines timepiece. Eastern Express second. Helene Happy Star working up to the outside of the leader. Anticipation will settle down in fourth. Big Orange has caught 3 deep. Down on the rail is Silver Wave. The middle a length away is Flame Hero. Deep out on the course, Smart Layer. She can't get in. Followed then by Garlingari and Satono Crown midfield defence. A length away then to 1 Foot in Heaven with Nuovo Record to the outside. The New Zealand galloper Benzini's back second last. The Singapore galloper is last of all, Keshwar. They're in the back, 1,300 metres to go, and Highland Reel has the lead. He got a little bit of pressure there from Big Orange, who quickly whipped around them and goes up into second. 1,200 metres out. Eastern Express holding a good spot third. So too is Helene Happy Star, followed by Silver Wave, who hasn't spent a penny. Deeper out on the track then, as they work towards the 1,000 metres, is Anticipation with Smart Layer. Then a length to Satono Crown on the inside of Flame Hero, followed by Garlingari, who's losing ground. Benzini, Keshwar. Then came 1 Foot in Heaven as they really pack up 800 metres out. 2 lengths last of all is Nuovo Record, who's got it all to do. Highland Reel down the side, 650 metres to go. He leads by a length. Helene Happy Star, Eastern Express as they approach the home turn. Followed then as they come up towards the bend by Smart Layer. She's under pressure, but Highland Reel will corner in front in the Vase as they swing for home. And Ryan Moore turns up the heat now, and Highland Reel dashed away. Eastern Express trying to stick on. Helene Happy Star, Satono Crown coming out of the pack. Further back to 1 Foot in Heaven. Then came Flame Hero. Highland Reel in full flight. There's only one danger. It's the Japanese charger, Satono Crown. He's got 3 to make up. Highland Reel kept going. Satono Crown is lifting. Satono Crown is cutting down Highland Reel, and he'll take the Vase. Japan conquer. Satono Crown from Highland Reel. They're 8 lengths in front of the rest.
An extraordinary performance from first and second, really, there with Satono Crown grabbing the favourite right on the line.
Yep, and if you back the winner, $204.50 it's paid, $41.50 the place, $10.50 a place for Highland Reel has been reeled in the latter stages, 39.5, 39.50.
How did that go
Here's
for you?
Mark.
Did you ever think you were going to pick up that leader?
I felt like turning for home I was going to be able to, because he was full of himself. When I put him under pressure, he just dashed home, and he was going just full of himself to the line. So, yeah, we were blessed enough.
The race went well for you throughout. Looked as though you had a pretty good inside run.
Yeah, look, eventually I ended up behind a horse that wasn't taking me forward, was actually dragging me back. When I got on the fence there, tracking another horse, and then when I put him under pressure on the straight, he just gave me everything that he's got. And he proved that he's a very talented horse.
Your timing was great.
Thank you very much.
Timing is everything, isn't it? And it certainly was. Timed to perfection.
Well, Joe Moreira on the fence before that first turn. What a great ride he gave this horse, and what a thrill for Joe Moreira fans around the world to watch him in action there, and being able to pick up the hot favourite there on Satono Crowd. A superb ride once again.
And Kevin, Ryan Moore knows Highland Reel probably better than anyone. Set up some reasonable fractions early, kicked on at the top of the straight. Looked like he had it to bed, but not quite.
Not quite. Look, things went relatively to plan for him, I think. He copped a little bit of pressure down the back straight, but otherwise, Ryan could do what he wants, essentially. He's gone for home quite a way out, and I think we all thought he was the winner turning in, but he's just got reeled in. You know, we said beforehand Highland Reel would have to underperform to be beaten. You know, I don't know how much he's underperformed there. They've come a long way clear of the third, and both horses have run a fantastic race, tremendous horse race, and all credit to the winner.
6 3/4 lengths to third,
Yes.
so it was a major distance, wasn't it? And this horse is still rather full of himself as well. He got very hot and bothered in the parade and agitated. Didn't worry him, he was too good.
He's won 5 of his 11 races now, first Group 1 win. He was a Group 2 winner back in February, but the Magic Man, those of you tuning into Hong Kong racing for the first time, that's why he's got that nickname.
He's got a good overall record, but 6 starts in Group 1 company for 1 placing. His last 3 starts, he beat 1 home behind Morris in the 10-0 show, the Takazuki Kinnan to start before that, albeit over shorter trips. But this is a best ever performance for him.
Yeah, for sure. And the QE2, he sort of knocked up rather quickly in that as well. But you can see he's obviously not the easiest of horses to handle, because he's quite fiery in his nature. So it's all worked out, though, well today for him. He was just far too good, as it turned out. He got the pace to suit as well.
Yeah. Could be the start of a very good afternoon for Nuruyuki Hori, the trainer, as well. I think it's fair to say he's got some good chances later on.
Yeah, that's a standing big hug from Joe. He's enjoyed this one. And as the first, they have weighed in, John, on the Vase.
You have indeed, yeah. And if you're on the composite win there, you've got category A3 at $32. The QPs just came on screen there as well. $63.50 for 1 and 4, 4 and 7, $274. 1 and 7 paid $54. And there's the winning region as well. Japan have taken it out, $59.50 there. Category C3.
Credible mention, Kevin, for One Foot in Heaven, who's filled 3rd spot. Came in under a cloud, but obviously he's run well.
Yeah, absolutely, given the interrupted preparation, if you want to call it that, has finished off very strongly. You know, very capable of producing a turn of foot like that. Obviously well beaten in the end, but a very credible run. And
the Japanese filly Jenny was last, I think, turning in, so she's done remarkably well.
She's done a great job, hasn't she? She's not an overly glamorous type of mare, that's for sure, but she always acquits herself extremely well. She's very, very genuine.
Yeah, she's now run 2nd and 4th in 2 HKIR renewals, so well done to her in connections.
Well, I'm sure they'll be bitten by the travelling bug now with Satono Crown. Only a 4-year-old. He's by Marju, the recently departed Marju as well, out of a Rossini mare. So that's, win number 5 at start 11, but the first at the highest level. Quick postscript, some of the other runners there. Kevin, Big Orange, he just sort of got outpaced in the end, didn't he?
I think it went badly from the start. Missed the kick a shade. That wouldn't have been the plan at all. Ended up rushing up slightly down the back straight. Came under pressure a long way out. Just lack of pace. When you're lacking in pace, you just cannot miss the kick like that in a race such as this. And that his fate was ultimately sealed, I think, very early on.
And Silver Wave was looked like a pretty good run in transit, but ultimately has finished out of the money.
Yeah, a little bit disappointing, you have to say, and not the first time he's disappointed in a big field. So perhaps when you look through his form, his best efforts all seem to be much smaller fields. Perhaps space is important to him, and a little bit disappointing again today.
Quick note as well, Andrew, at the time, 2:26.22. That's quick.
I just had a quick look. The record is actually a remarkable 2:24, right, which was Viva Pataka. It was, some performer in his own right.
Yeah, certainly
but
was.
2:24 is an extraordinary time considering the sectionals they've just run there for 2:26.
And from a breeding perspective, the winner's mother was actually bought in Ireland carrying Satono Crown a few years ago. Had already bred a Group 1 winner, and that's turned out to be a pretty shrewd investment.
Absolutely, well worked in there. So an Irish connection with the winner regardless.
I'm grasping, aren't I?
Highland Reel, though, we assume stays in training next year, so we'll get to enjoy him at least for one more season. And again, hopefully, he'll be back on his world tour.
Yeah, absolutely, I'd imagine that would be the plan. He can earn an awful lot of prize money doing what he's doing. He does it very well. Found 1 too good today, but has lost very little in defeat.
That's obviously Joe's wife, Tatiana, enjoying the victory there.
Yeah, and hugs all round as they take out the big one.
各位來賓，浪琴標香港瓶頒獎儀式現在開始。
Ladies and gentlemen, the trophy presentation of the Longines Hong Kong Vase will now commence.
各位馬迷，你哋好啊！今日真係天公造美啊！經過一輪非常之緊張刺激嘅賽事之後，浪琴標香港瓶已經名花有主啦，係由嚟自日本嘅代表李健皇冠勝出㗎。而家我哋有請香港賽馬會董事鄭維志博士就頒發獎杯同埋駿馬銅像俾我哋勝出頭馬李健皇冠嘅馬主係 Jimmy Satomi。The club steward, Dr. Christopher Cheng, is now presenting the Longines Hong Kong Vase and a bronze horse statuette to our winning owner, Hajime Satomi of Santano Crown. Congratulations! 恭喜晒啊！跟住我哋繼續有請鄭博士就將駿馬銅像頒俾我哋勝出頭馬嘅練馬師掘孫行。亦都有我哋勝出嘅騎師莫雷拉㗎。Dr. Chen has just presented the bronze horse statuette to the winning trainer Noriyuki Hori and is presenting to our winning jockey Joao Moreira. 跟住落嚟，我哋有請 Longines 香港區副總裁歐陽彩英小姐就將浪琴標誌送俾我哋勝出頭馬嘅馬主、練馬師同埋騎師㗎。Ms. Karen Oh Young, Vice President of Longines Hong Kong, is now presenting a Longines watch to the winning owner, trainer, and jockey. 再次恭喜晒 ！Congratulations once again to all our winning parties. 冇錯啦，我哋嘅勝出騎師莫雷拉。接住落嚟，我哋有請勝出騎師致送花束俾歐陽彩英小姐。Our winning jockey Joao Moreira is also presenting a bouquet to Miss Karen Oh Young。呢個時候，我哋當然要影翻幅大合照啦。Let's take a group photo together to commemorate such a wonderful moment。多謝晒咁多位，而家我哋有請香港警察樂隊演奏勝出頭馬所代表國家日本嘅國歌，有請各位起立。Please stand for the national anthem of the winning country, Japan. 晒咁多位浪琴標香港瓶嘅頒獎儀式已經係圓滿結束啦。陣間第5場嘅浪琴標香港短途錦標，約定大家喺頒獎禮再見啦。This is the end of the presentation. See you at the Longines Hong Kong Sprint Trophy presentation at Race 5. Bye bye.
Here we go. Let's have a look at the patrol from the Vase from the start. So our eventual winner here, Satono Crown, coming out of barrier 9, and Highland Reel, Ryan Moore bounced out from barrier 10. He wanted to get forward and has cut out some serious fractions here in the early stages. He's gone 25.29. The standard here is 25.75. But in saying that, Highland Reel doing it very easily. Anticipation just on his inside, running quite freely. And Eastern Express had a good trail in behind. Now, Big Orange, who just missed the kick, he's caught up in traffic a little bit already. 1.5 miles is on the short side for him. He wants to get rolling. Eventually does get somewhere near the front. But really hasn't been afforded his normal run pattern here as they head out of the straight for the first time. So Highland Reel in front. You're looking back for the eventual winner, Satono Crown, where he's back there 4-5 back on the fence, travelling very sweetly. In front of 1 foot in heaven, Keshwar at the moment is trailing them in, along with Benzini. They're the back 2. So settling down, and Big Orange has finally found the front. They went 25.29 early, then 24.28. 48, apologies, went 25 evens the standard. That Smart Layer is out very wide and covering some ground. Anticipation still travelling a little bit on the strong side. And the Pink Jacket, that's Silver Wave, 3 back on the inside, with eventual winner Satono Crown just in behind, again travelling well. Nuovo Record just saw peak out for a moment, just had a look. Long way to go around from there. So Iwata just pulls back in, and ultimately it's a big run. The green sheepskin noseband you're looking at there for Nuovo Record. Helene Happy Stars run a big race as well in the red and green, 3 wide at the moment and starting to turn the taps on. Looked like to have every chance as they swung in. Again, the winner just sneaking up past Silver Wave and just getting into a striking position. A little bit of traffic in front of him at this stage, Joe, as they turn in. And Ryan Moore, this is where he says go. He knows the horse better than anyone, knows what he can achieve. And as they swung in, it looked like he had the race. But Satono Crown just waiting for that gap. And ultimately, when these two passed the line, there was 6 3/4 lengths between first, second, and then the back to third spot. So Highland Reel goes for home, and Satono Crown gets the gap, bursts through. You can see the grey mare, Smart Layer, trying to struggle a little bit. Nuovo Record weaving through, just pulling off her heels, and puts up a spirited effort into third place. And, of course, a good effort from 1 foot in heaven, who stayed on quite strongly in the closing stages. But ultimately, it was Highland Reel right up until the last 50 metres or so when Satono Crown grabs him. And there's the celebration from Joe Moreira in 2:26.22.
Some serious sectionals there, 25.29, 24.48, 24.55, 24.35, then 23.42. We closed with 24.13, 2:26.22, significantly under standard.
Andrew, good to be with you both, and it's great to have Australian competition again in one of the truly great sprint races on the global scene, the Longines Hong Kong Sprint, and in a race where on official international ratings there doesn't look to be a lot between quite a few rivals. I think both Rebel Dane and Takedown will do our representation quite well.
Takedown has been pretty impressive in track work this week. He's a monster of an individual and comes here in great form off that Winterbottom win.
Yeah, he's close to 17 hands high. He weighs 620 odd kilos, and as you mentioned, terrific work during the week. But so brave winning the Winterbottom Stakes at Ascot in Perth in the heat a couple of weeks back. It doesn't look like he's gone backwards from that run, and I know trainer Gary Moore's very bullish about his chances.
Yeah, and Shane makes the point, actually, we'll come back to that, John, because we're into the presentation here, the yard as well. We'll start off with area velocity. Who's a previous winner of this race. Jenny, how's he looking?
He looks a treat. He's walking out beautifully. He's beautifully behaved. He's a bit of a quirky horse on the track. He can misbehave, but in the parade, he's always really well behaved. So I like the way he's come in. He's got those bright pink blinkers. You're not going to miss him in the run, and if he lives up to his best, he's more than capable. Coat looks fantastic, really fit, lovely individual.
Hopefully going order here, Jenny. The next is number 2, Lucky Bubbles. He's a real improving type.
He really is. You know, he's never been a terribly smooth walking horse, and you'll see that for yourself here. So he always needs a little bit of loosening up, and it doesn't affect his galloping action, so don't be put off by that by any means. He's gone touch winter in his coat. He does always carry a little bit of condition. He's a bit plainer than a few of the others, but he's got plenty of ability, and I think he looks well by his standards.
And there is Brett Preble and the rest of the team. Francis Loy with Lucky Bubbles. Beaten in a very even Jockey Club sprint coming into this, the main trial. This is Peniophobia, the defending champ, Jenny.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful Peniophobia. He cannot look any better than this. He often just throws that head like that, just a little bit of arrogance, but his overall nature's fantastic. He's beautiful and fluent in his walking action as well. 5-year-old now. I can't fault him. He looks terrific.
He zipped across from gate 14 to win this race last year. No such trouble this time round. He's got gate 1. Sylvester de Souza aboard. He is sure to go forward. And this is not listening to me. The winner of the Jockey Club Sprint last time out, Jenny, he got a nice run in that race, and he was 3rd in this last year.
He was, and I really liked his last win as well. I think he might have come to hand at exactly the right time. He looks in great order as well. He's another one that carries a bit of condition. He's gone a bit wintry in his coat as well, but he is beautifully behaved, as you can see, nothing phasing him, and he is walking out nice and cleanly as well. So I think he's a chance. I might have a few others in front of him on looks, but he's come right at the right time.
There's John Moore giving Hugh Bowman the instructions there as we move on to Amazing Kids. Jenny, Joe Moreira jumps on board here for John Size.
Well, John Size has turned this horse looking an absolute treat here in the parade. Amazing Kids. Another one that I'm not sure that he's quite up to it, but on looks I could give him a really strong chance. He's got the 2 handlers on him here. His coat's absolutely gleaming. He's walking out beautifully. He's a really athletic type, and he looks a treat. So he's certainly there with a chance on looks.
It's a lovely horse. He's up against his nemesis, though, this afternoon in the shape of Lucky Bubbles, who's finished in front of him on 3 separate occasions. The next is the 6. This is Big Arthur. Jenny, how's the Japanese representative looking?
Well, obviously this is the first time I've seen him. He's not the most smooth walking horse in front. He'll need a little bit of loosening up in front. He has got some really good shoulder strength. He's a horse that does carry a little bit of condition. He's not overly tall, your average height. I think he looks well, but not outstanding.
People have mentioned him, Shane, the same breath as Lord Kanaloa.
Well, Lord Kanaloa would be smashing this field if that's the case. I'm surprised he's going around at such a big price at the moment. You know, 8.5 here in Hong Kong. He should have won the Sprinter Stakes last start. He was desperately unlucky. If he had won that officially, he'd be very short here.
Yeah, as we move on to the first of the 2 Australians, Jenny, Rebel Dane.
He's been really consistent, hasn't he? He's a 7-year-old now, so he's getting on a little bit, but I love his laid-back attitude, very calm and collected, nice, neat type of horse, fit as well, little wintry in his coat too. I think he's walking out okay. I was sort of slightly querying him a little bit in front when he first walked in, but he seems to have loosened up okay already, so he's well.
Yeah, importantly, he lost 9 kilos on the trip over to Hong Kong, but he's been able to put the best part of that back on through his stay here. I know his trainer, Gary Portelli's been very bullish, as has jockey Ben Mellum. He's going to need a touch of luck from the gate, but he'll be right in the thick of things.
The 8 is Signs of Blessing. The French challenger, Jenny, probably wants a bit more cut in the ground.
He might. He did win down the straight at Deauville when he was able to lead all the way. Whether or not he's able to do it here. When he first walked in, he was quite tense in the parade. He still is. He's got that neck arch. He's got the ears pricked. He's not doing a whole lot wrong, but he is a bit toey. So that's the only issue with him, just nerves at the moment.
Red Fowlks claimed a scalp of Big Arthur, possibly with some luck last time out. How's he look?
Sorry?
Red Fowlks.
Yes, now his bandage, he's been as calm as they come. He's an absolute gem of a horse here in the parade. Nothing phasing him at all. And he's a nice individual. He looks in good shape. He's walking out nice and cleanly. He's fit, very casual, relaxed horse. So I wouldn't dismiss him.
10 is Strathmore, ran a very good race for a long time in the Chairman's Sprint Prize last year. He's had 1 tune-up already this season. Jenny, how's he looking?
He looks really well. He's another very sensible type. He's really big, strong, robust type, and he looks all muscled up and strong and well. Now, it's a big step up for him in this type of grade, but he might be a part of it, the way he looks.
Yeah, Neil Callan jumping on board barrier 3 is a good barrier. And there's Graham Lee on board Growl for Richard Fahey.
Well, this horse has been clipped out. He weighs in at 1,072 pounds. He is awkwardly drawn as well in gate 12. But he's a pretty calm, relaxed horse. It is quite warm now with that sun out, and he's just started to sweat up in little patches here and there. Nothing to be overly concerned about. He's a fit, neat type of horse. He's okay.
Horse number 12 is Take Down, the other Australian challenger. Gary Moore, very, very bullish about this horse. He's a big one, isn't he, Jenny?
He's huge. 1,365 pounds this guy weighs in at. But he has got a fantastic nature about him. He's almost like a gentle giant. And he looks in really good health. That coat's beautiful at the moment. He's such a solid type. But he's fit, obviously. A last start winner in Perth. Whether or not that's good enough for here, that's my little query. But he's behaved himself very nicely.
Gary Moore said he'll win.
Yeah, Gary Moore's very confident. I've got to say, to my eye, he looks better than what he did when he was in Melbourne 2 starts ago, so expect a big run.
All right, unfortunately, Pure Sensation doesn't go around this afternoon, Jenny, so Super Jockey, unusual preparation, that winning career.
Yeah, well, he's first up since the 11th of September, Super Jockey, and that was when he went to Korea and he was able to win the sprint over there by a big margin. That was on the sand. He has been clipped out. He's normally quite a fine-skinned horse anyway. He's behaving himself really nicely too. He's rather athletic, and he walks out, you know, he's tall, he's athletic. He looks well. I really can't fault him too much. And I think I just need to recap the one for some of our viewers here. Aero Velocity, I thought he was looking at treat, and I'm going to put him into the top 4. He won't be on top, but he'll get into the top 4. He looks really, really well.
Well, I think they want through to 5 as well, Jenny, if he can, just quickly.
Lucky Bubbles just needs to loosen up in front, but that's normal for him, so don't be put off by that. He looks well by his standards. Pennyphobia looks an absolute treat. Not listening to me. Carries a little bit of condition, a bit wintry in his coat, but very, very sensible, and he was walking out nice and cleanly, so he's good for him. And Amazing Kids can't look any better than that. G looks well too, and he's a very good chance of going into the top 4.
Excellent stuff. All right, the horses are heading out onto the track for the sprints now. Jenny will just get her numbers together. Paul, how's the market?
Well, Lucky Bubbles is pretty solid favourite at 2.1, 1.1 currently. The Hong Kong horses right in the market here. Pennyphobia at 8.6, Amazing Kid 7.8. Big Arthur's the best of the internationals, which is the Japanese horse, 8.3 and $3. Aero Velocity then out to 10. Red Fox, the other Japanese, into 11. Then Takedowns at 22, and we go out from there. And it looks like Lucky Bubbles is going to start a short price favourite in the sprint, guys.
Yeah, and there was a presentation for Best Turned Out. Jenny, not listen to me, it's not the first one he's won this year either, but does he make it into your top 4?
He just misses out. I would have had him 5th pick, actually, but I quite like him.
浪琴標香港短途錦標參賽馬匹
The runners of the Longines Hong Kong Sprint.
1號馬香港代表有型格
Number 1, Aero Velocity, representing Hong Kong.
2號馬香港代表幸運如意
Number 2, Lucky Bubbles, representing Hong Kong.
3號馬香港代表幸福指數
Number 3, Pennyphobia, representing Hong Kong.
4號馬香港代表生力風
Number 4, Not Listening to Me, representing Hong Kong.
5號馬香港代表華欣庭
Number 5, Amazing Kids, representing Hong Kong.
6號馬日本代表大仁大勇
Number 6, Big Arthur, representing Japan.
7號馬澳洲代表反叛單區
Number 7, Rebel Dane, representing Australia.
8號馬法國代表福兆
Number 8, Signs of Blessing, representing France.
9號馬日本代表彎刀赤進
Number 9, Red Fox, representing Japan.
10號馬香港代表龍城勇將
Number 10, Strathmore, representing Hong Kong.
11號馬 英國代表轟鳴。
Number 11, Growl, representing Great Britain.
12號碼澳洲代表紀錄在案。
Number 12, Takedown, representing Australia.
14號碼香港代表積多福。
Number 14, Super Jockey, representing Hong Kong.
From Hong Kong, he's at 46 and 730, but his work's been very good, and he'll strip a fit horse after having a run leading into this. And Not Listen to Me won the trial pretty impressively as well, and $12 310 represents some good value here as well. So 2-6, 10 and 4, looking forward to this one.
Absolutely, it's going to be a grandstand finish here. I'm with Lucky Bubbles, but my 4 numbers, maybe a little bit of a stretch, but I could probably put up 4 other numbers and make a pretty good argument for them as well. But ultimately, Lucky Bubbles on top. I think Strathmore's just looking like he's going to put up a big performance. He's my long shot for the meeting. Turned out perfectly once more by Tony Millard and the team. You can't leave Takedown out the way he looks. Just extraordinary horse. Comes here in great form. And I've got the Japanese horse Big Arthur in for 4th spot there. He could come out and blow them away. He might be something out of the top draw if you believe the hype he is. But officially, John, for me, 2, 10, 12 and 6.
Yeah, similar numbers for me. It's a bit Hong Kong centric this, but I think they've been dealt a pretty good hand with a barrier draw as well. Lucky Bubbles from gate 5. He's just a very, very progressive horse. He was a little bit unlucky in the run last time out. He still steamed home behind Not Listening to Me, and I expect him to be slightly better positioned than he was then. Going to go with Big Arthur in there for 2nd as the Japanese representative in my numbers, and then I've got Not Listening to Me, who took advantage of a good gate to run 3rd in this race last year, and he couldn't be coming into the race in any better form. An amazing kid, often sees Lucky Bubbles behind. It may well happen again this time round. He gets quite far back in his races, but he'll be charging home late, and hopefully he'll get a decent run as well. 2, 6, 4 and 5.
Gone with one of my old favourites here in Penny of Phobia. I thought he paraded beautifully, and he's got a great record in this race as well. Of course, he won it last year. He's drawn nicely in gate 1. I think he'll be able to take advantage of that as well. Sylvester Sousa to ride here. Of course, Joe won on him last year, but the horse has been turned out beautifully from the Cruise Yard. The 5 horse, Amazing Kids from John Sizes, I thought he paraded beautifully too. He can, as I said, get a little fired up. He wasn't too bad. I saw him just play up once there today. That's pretty good by his standards. He looks really fit and very, very well. The 10, Strathmore from Tony Millard's yard. Gee, he looks well. Nice ride for Neil Cullen. He is nicely drawn as well, so he might be able to make the most of that draw. And of the rest, number 1, Aero Velocity, who's inclined to lay in his races. He always has, but he has drawn gate 2 here, so that might give him an opportunity to be on the fence, and if he doesn't have to go round another, it could also help him. He's a classy horse. He's proven at Group 1, and he looks a treat here today. So in order for me, 3, 5, 10 and 1.
All right, down at the start and circling ahead of the sprint. We're joined here in the mounting yard by Shane Anderson from racing.com. Shane, obviously to talk about the 2 Australian runners, but you've got more than a passing interest in international racing as well. In terms of the Japanese, how good could he be, do you think?
Yeah, I think he's untapped still. He's only been at the elite level this season in Japan. He won the first Group 1 back in March, and then of course he was desperately unlucky in the Sprinters Stakes. He won the Centaur leading up to that. That is the right sort of form. We've seen the Japanese come out and win the first Group 1 today, so I'm happy to go with Big Arthur. I think at the price he's still a touch of value, and the wraps on him are huge. Of the 2 Australians, Rebel Dane, if he drew a softer gate, I think he'd be really a live winning chance, but I'm happy to risk him from barrier number 8. Takedown, certainly he's going to be pushing forward. It's just whether or not he can get up outside the lead easily in that first 300-400 metres, because there does look to be a fair amount of speed down on the inside. So I'm risking both of the Australians as winning chances, but I do think they'll run well.
Penny of Phobia obviously did this from barrier 14 last year, and from, just passing glance, you think that's a bad draw, but he's drawn barrier 1 this year. Barriers 1, 2, 3 and 4 have never won the sprint over 1200.
Yeah, it's an interesting stat, isn't it? There's no doubt about that. Well, we'll see if he can change that. I think from gate 1 he's a classy enough horse to be able to take advantage of that gate. And I think last time he was just given he was sort of pressured a little bit, so I could give him a little excuse for that last performance. Whether or not he's going as well as he was this time last year is still a bit of a question mark, but he's a classy horse on his day and he looks a treat.
He's going to have his old mate Aero Velocity just outside him as well, probably taking him on for that early pace. That's the reason why, for me, I've gone a little bit cold on him. But he's a lovely horse, and of course, you've got to remember he's been doing this stuff since he's been a 2-year-old in the UK, so he's been a busy horse over the years, and a really marvellous one as well.
Just got a quick look there, Shane, at Signs of Blessing, who's been on his travels from France, obviously, but a big run at Royal Ascot in the Diamond Jubilee. Draw hasn't been kind to him either, but he does have ability.
He's certainly got plenty of ability. I think, as was touched on a bit earlier by John, the main concern is the firmness of the ground. He's a horse that I think with a touch more give, he'd be more effective. And you know, it was a solid performance when he was able to win the Group 1 back in France. But I think there's a few holes in that form, so I'm happy to risk him here.
Get permission to put the Union Jack hat on for a second with Growl.
Absolutely.
I think he's an interesting horse. He's badly drawn this time round, but he's really improved towards the back end of our season. It was a really good run at Ascot on Champions Day. He won a listed race at Doncaster, which wasn't much, but I think he'll have no problem with the hurly-burly here. He's been running in some of those big cavalry charge handicaps, and he's definitely one to look forward to for next season as well.
I keep looking at Super Jockey, Jenny.
Mm-hmm.
Went with the career sprint back in September. He's obviously been kept on the go, kept on the move, but that was on the sand, very impressive. What can he do here?
Well, I don't know what the opposition was like. I think it's a much tougher assignment here today against the calibre of these. He is a very fit-looking horse, I will say that, and he's got a really nice nature about him as well. He paraded nicely. It's just a matter of whether or not he's quite up to it here. We'll have to wait and see, maybe.
Yeah, we will see if he's the sleeper. Paul, we might take a quick check on the market. They're just getting set to go in.
Yeah, no problems. Lucky Bubbles is being punted, well, coming in again. He's into even money now, so the money's coming late for Lucky Bubbles. The other horses here from Hong Kong, Air Velocity 940, Peniophobia at 920, Amazing Kids at 810, and Big Arthur, the Japanese horse, at 7.8. So they're the horses that are in the market. They're the ones under $10. If you like the Quinella, the favourite Quinella at the moment is 2 and 5, which is Lucky Bubbles and Amazing Kids, and that's paying 6.5, Andrew.
All right, well, Lucky Bubbles is our even money favourite as the light flashes as they start to move forward for the Longines Hong Kong Sprint. Expecting a grandstand finish here, Brett, and it's going to be helter-skelter from the get-go.
Thanks very much, Andrew. Yes, the runners are about to be loaded here for the second of our international Group 1s this afternoon at Sha Tin, the Longines Hong Kong Sprint. Won last year by Peniophobia, drawing the extreme outside barrier. Ironic that he's drawn gate 1 this year. Aero Velocity, the winner 2 years ago. 8-year-old now, Aero Velocity, but his form leading in has been good. Not Listening to Me won the lead-up here in Hong Kong. He's already loaded into the gates. 2 runners from Australia, Rebel Dane to move in, along with Takedown. Super Jockey, winner of the inaugural Group 1 Korean Sprint. Japan already with success today. Red Falcons and Big Arthur. Red Falcons moves into the gate. Lucky Bubbles still to come up with Growl along with Strathmore. Amazing Kids. Joe Moreira looking for the first 2 international Group 1s. Signs of Blessing still to move in as well. So half the field is loaded. Growl's just a little bit reluctant to move into the gates at this stage. Strathmore still out. Even money for Lucky Bubbles, 2 and 1.2. Money now for Aero Velocity down to 8. Amazing Kids 7.5. Big Arthur at 6.9. Peniophobia 10. Not Listening to Me at 11. 15 for Red Falcons. And the remainder headed by Takedown, who's at 23 to 1. Just 4 or 5 to load. Amazing Kids to come forward. Signs of Blessing still to move up with Peniophobia, Lucky Bubbles, and Aero Velocity. More money now for Aero Velocity. Group 1 winner in 3 different countries. Is there one more big win in him? Signs of Blessing moves into the gates. So we've got 4 to load. Amazing Kids, Peniophobia, Aero Velocity and Lucky Bubbles. Fantastic race, the Vase, won by Satono Crown, cutting down Highland Reel. They were nearly 7 lengths in front of the 3rd place getter, 1 Foot in Heaven. Nuovo Record ran a great race, as did the New Zealand galloper Benzini. That was the Vase. This is the Sprint. $18.5 million in prize money. Lucky Bubbles, who is the favourite, moves in. So does Aero Velocity. Field is set. 1,200 metres for the Longines Hong Kong sprint. Gates are open, they're off. Penophobia and Aero Velocity both bounce quickly into the bridle, and Super Jockey charges up to join them in third. Also travelling forward, Not Listening to Me. Takedown not far away. Rebel Day in the middle. Strathmore's hunting through nearer the rail. Big Arthur is caught a touch wide on the outside of Lucky Bubbles, and then two further back to Growl and Red Falcons from Amazing Kids second last. Signs of Blessing last of all. Penophobia again in the sprint shows the way. 600 metres out. Leads a half a length to Super Jockey second. Rebel Day in third on the outside of Aero Velocity. Strathmore down on the rail. Not Listening to Me. Takedown. Then came Big Arthur. Lucky Bubbles. Amazing Kids have got plenty of work to do. They corner in, and Penophobia half a length on Super Jockey. Aero Velocity. Rebel Dane. Strathmore. Amazing Kids hunts the rail. Wider out is Big Arthur with Lucky Bubbles. Penophobia still has it. Super Jockey. Aero Velocity. The 8-year-old rolls up now to take the lead. Aero Velocity from Penophobia. Lucky Bubbles on the scene late. Aero Velocity in front. Lucky Bubbles trying to reach him. Aero Velocity. What a grand 8-year-old he is. He takes his second sprint. Aero Velocity from Lucky Bubbles. Penophobia probably third ahead of Amazing Kids and Takedown. Signs of Blessing closed off. Not Listening to Me. Rebel Dane, Super Jockey. Big Arthur couldn't close. Likewise Red Falcons. Then Strathmore and Signs of Blessing, one of the last to complete the course. Aero Velocity. Age will not weary him. Zach Purton, Paul O'Sullivan take the sprint as they did 2 years ago on Aero Velocity. Lucky Bubbles, so brave in second. Penophobia and Amazing Kids. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 for Hong Kong in the sprint. Aero Velocity, a rising 9-year-old. Paul O'Sullivan said some time ago now, after he had issues on the way to Japan, anything from here is a bonus. It's a big bonus today. Racebook order, 1, 2, 3, 5, 4. For the Longines Hong Kong sprint, gates are open, they're off. Penophobia and Aero Velocity both bounce quickly into the bridle, and Super Jockey charges up to join them in third. Also travelling forward, Not Listening to Me. Takedown not far away. Rebel Day in the middle. Strathmore's hunting through nearer the rail. Big Arthur is caught a touch wide on the outside of Lucky Bubbles, and then two further back to Growl and Red Falcons from Amazing Kids second last. Signs of Blessing last of all. Penophobia again in the sprint shows the way. 600 metres out. Leads a half a length to Super Jockey second. Rebel Day in third on the outside of Aero Velocity. Strathmore down on the rail. Not Listening to Me. Takedown. Then came Big Arthur. Lucky Bubbles. Amazing Kids have got plenty of work to do. They corner in, and Penophobia half a length on Super Jockey. Aero Velocity. Rebel Dane. Strathmore. Amazing Kids hunts the rail. Wider out is Big Arthur with Lucky Bubbles. Penophobia still has it. Super Jockey. Aero Velocity. The 8-year-old rolls up now to take the lead. Aero Velocity from Penophobia. Lucky Bubbles on the scene late. Aero Velocity in front. Lucky Bubbles trying to reach him. Aero Velocity. What a grand 8-year-old he is. He takes his second sprint.
Age has got the better over youth there. Aero Velocity hanging on from Lucky Bubbles, who was flying home at the finish. Penophobia has run a terrific race up the inside. Sylvester de Souza got it absolutely perfect tactically, and it almost paid off, Andrew.
He did. The winner was well backed, 75.50 in the end. Aero Velocity, $19 a place. Lucky Bubbles flashed home for second, $12. 3 runs third. That was Penophobia off the inside at 33 and 5. Amazing Kids again from a long way back was 1, 2, 3 and 5. The Quinella 1 and 2, $83. Tierce 1, 2 and 3 in order. It's that simple. $1,283. And the trio 170 on the numbers 1, 2 and 3. He reclaims his crown. Aero Velocity, another Group 1. Mark about to catch up with connections.
He's now won 12 of his 23 races in all. This fellow, it's his fourth.
Zach, so pleased to be speaking to you now. How does that feel?
Oh yeah, it's a good feeling because, you know, we're of the opinion that we're starting to lose him, and we know he's a warrior and he gives everything he's got. And although he didn't perform at his best today, his heart's just so big that he was able to give us that effort.
He looked tremendous before, and looked like Paul had done an outstanding job on getting him ready on the day.
He had. He'd fine-tuned him and dropped the extra little pounds that he was carrying and got him as best as he could for today, so he's done a great job.
And it all went without any problems at any stage?
Yeah, we had a lovely run in the race and come out and he was just able to amble up. And, you know, it was hard fought at the end, but like I said, he's all heart.
Well done.
There goes Zach Purton on the board with Aero Velocity, a true star of the world stage. Jenny, he's won overseas as well at the highest level too.
What a great horse he's been too, that jockey Zach Purton as well. That's his 11th win out of 19 rides on this fellow. Outstanding record, and I've got to say what Mark Richards just said there. What a fantastic training performance with the old horse. He had him an absolute treat here today, Aero Velocity.
And what about the Australian horses then, Shane? Takedown, there's a lot of credit in that.
I thought he's run really well. He was a little slow to begin, and then he was getting bustled up. Old Rebel Dane got around him, and he just was shuffled back early in the piece. But he was hitting the line strongly. I think he's been beaten about 2 lengths in 6th position. Rebel Dane covered a fair bit of ground there, 3 wide on speed. He never really looked comfortable, and I think he's run 10th or 11th. He wasn't disgraced.
Yeah, but Takedown certainly proved that he was place here was worthwhile. John, ultimately, it was a clean sweep, a home team.
It was, yeah. We said before they'd drawn some good gates, and the key to this race at the time, 23.9 to the first call, so it was a bit pedestrian, really, given what we thought might happen. And he really quickened it up to the second. De Souza aboard Aero Velocity, tried to really run it out of them in the middle part of the race. It was a tactic that nearly worked, but he reckoned without his old mate Aero Velocity.
Bang goes that stat as well, Jenny, about not winning off the inside. Aero Velocity wins from barrier 2, but
absolutely, and he loves to lay in, and he did that again, and he was still too good in the end, wasn't he?
Lucky Bubbles, huge run from where he was, and Amazing Kids as well.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Amazing Kids sort of saved that ground on the fence there, but he fought on really well. He might be, you know, just improving as time goes on. I thought Peniophobia put up a great performance. He had to do all the work there, and he was run down. He was still able to finish in 3rd position, so he might be back to his best too.
There was a little bit of scrimmaging going into that turn. I'm not sure, so not listening to me, Hugh Bowman had to snatch up momentarily. What sort of chance it cost them, but they have weighed in here, weighed in on the sprints. And it was 1, 2, 3 and 5 and a big hug. This will mean a lot to these guys.
Yeah, most definitely. It's just been great watching the comeback story around this horse, because he has been a top-class sprinter for such a long time. He's had his few little issues along the way, but as Jenny mentioned, he presented in great order here today. And well done to Zach Purton. He just timed his run to perfection. He's had to hold off a fast-closing Lucky Bubbles, but a brave win by a very, very good horse.
Yeah, there were 1 or 2 track work shrewdies who were giving me the wink about this horse earlier on in the week. He'd been travelling really well in his races, but he hadn't just quite been finishing them as well as he had done. But clearly Paul O'Sullivan just left a little bit for the biggest of big days.
It's a lovely ride from Zach, Jenny, because sometimes you can get caught into these speed duels up front, but he jumped out, assessed his situation, let Silvestre go on and just save that little bit extra.
Well, I think when Zach saw that Silvestre was hell-bent on going to the front and taking up the lead, obviously those were his instructions, he was more than happy just to take that nice sit behind, so it all panned out beautifully for him. I suppose, you know, in the concluding stages, under pressure, that laying in trait that he does have is always a bit of an issue, but Zach knows him so well, he handled it perfectly.
There we go, thumbs up from Zach Purton. Aero Velocity has got a fantastic race. He's only beaten me once, in actual fact, in Group 1 company. But say at the age of 8, you sometimes say their best years are behind you, but possibly not with Aero Velocity. It was a great run, Shane.
Yeah, it certainly was. A bit disappointing, the performance of Big Arthur. He covered ground, but he looked to be beaten a long way from home there, Andrew.
Yeah, and Lucky Bubbles came from behind him, so, you know, it's not they weren't making up ground, but
just shuffled back at the wrong time, Lucky Bubbles, and then when he got going and the gaps came, he really did get into gear very well, but just ran out of real estate, as they say in the States.
Yeah, so we'll get a postscript on Big Arthur if there were any excuses, and we'll have a look at the patrol film as well. He might have been involved in that scrimmaging. Who was a good run was Signs of Blessing. Normally goes out and tries to force. Obviously they reassessed with drawing wide and just sort of rode him cold and stayed on.
Yeah, it certainly did, and you know, we'll press on and probably have another international campaign next year, and might be able to measure up with a feature race success. As you mentioned, it was a really good performance. Great for Hong Kong racing to see the hometown heroes win the first of the 2 Group 1s, Joe Moreira in the Vase, and now Zach Purton, who's an absolute superstar in his own right, taking out the sprint.
Well, there's his wife, of course, Nicole, due for her second baby very soon as well, so exciting times coming up. They also have a daughter at the moment, Roxy, and of course Jimmy Cassidy, Melbourne Cup winning jockey and superstar from Australia in the photo there as well. Of course, he is Nicole's father, so great to have Jimmy on board too.
And Zach's parents are in town also, enjoying this moment, I am sure. So a real family affair, and just a fantastic. Now, I saw Casper Founds give Zach high five as he came back in. So everyone enjoying this, because I think Aero Velocity is a bit of a favourite here in Hong Kong. And
let me tell you, in heels, pregnant, I'm sure that's not easy to do. So well done, Nicole.
Yeah. She's enjoying it as much as Zach, I think, this one, isn't she? Tremendous pictures.
各位來賓，浪琴標香港短途錦標頒獎儀式現在開始。
Ladies and gentlemen, the trophy presentation of the Longines Hong Kong Sprint will now commence.
Congratulations to our winning horse, Aero Velocity from Hong Kong, winning the Longines Hong Kong Sprint. 浪琴標香港短途錦標已經名花有主啦，係由嚟自香港嘅有型格勝出㗎。Let's invite the club's deputy chairman, Mr. Anthony Chow, to present the Longines Hong Kong Sprint Trophy and a horse statuette to our winning owner, Daniel Yang of Aero Velocity. 我哋有請我哋香港賽馬會副主席周永健先生頒發我哋嘅獎杯同埋駿馬銅像，俾我哋勝出頭馬有型格嘅馬主楊毅先生嘅。Next, let's invite Mr. Anthony Chow to present the bronze horse statuette to our winning trainer, Paul O'Sullivan. And of course, our winning jockey, Zach Curtin. 繼續咧就係有請周永健先生咧，就將駿馬銅像咧，啱啱就係頒贈俾我哋嘅勝出嘅練馬師蘇保羅同埋我哋勝出騎師潘頓㗎。Thank you, Mr. Chow. May I now invite Mr. Kevin Rowland-Hagan, Managing Director of Swatch Group Hong Kong Limited, to present Longines watches to our winning owner, trainer and jockey. 繼續我哋有請思屋旗集團香港董事總經理盧克勤先生，就將浪琴標致送俾我哋勝出頭馬嘅馬主、練馬師同埋騎師㗎。非常之開心，再次恭喜晒我哋所有嘅勝出嘅馬主、練馬師同埋騎師。A beautiful watch for our winning trainer. And of course, let's present a beautiful Longines watch to our winning jockey, Zach Curtin. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a group photo together. 我哋一齊影返幅大合照先。A very memorable moment indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the national anthem of the winning country, China. 而家我哋有請香港警察樂隊演奏勝出頭馬所代表國家中國嘅國歌，有請各位起立。Trophy presentation after race 7， 唔該晒咁多位，浪琴標香港短途錦標嘅頒獎儀式已經圓滿結束，約定大家第7場嘅浪琴標香港一哩錦標再見啦！